All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? Happy Monday to you. It is Monday, September 27th, 2021. This morning, we're going to talk a little bit about setbacks, about settling and the comparison that settling for something has to being a setback. You know, it's easy for us to find ourselves in life in tough situations and find ourselves settling for something. None of us want to experience setbacks in life. However, when we settle for something, when we settle for a specific result that is less than what we're capable of, it is really no different than a setback. We're going to talk about that this morning. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life. And then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? Happy Monday to you. I hope you guys are having an awesome morning, man. It is undeniably fall weather here in Pittsburgh. It has been for probably about a week and a half, but every once in a while you wake up and it's warm and you think maybe it's not permanent, but man, it is definitely 100% into my favorite season of the year, to be honest with you. It is, summer is great, but fall, man, is just, there's something about it that is special to me. I just love, waking up, throwing a jacket on, and not being too terribly cold, but it being brisk outside, and it's awesome. So I hope you guys are experiencing the same where you're at, or at least you have beautiful mornings where you're at. So this morning, guys, I wanted to talk about what I believe is an interesting subject, right? When you think about how often in our lives we settle for something, how often in our lives we're pushing for something and we're, pushing in a positive direction, but we end up, just kind of settling for, whatever it is that ends up being. And we don't really put too much thought into that. We don't really take another run at it. We don't really do too much, to think about what it is that we just did, which is settling for something that is less than what we're capable of. And, when you settle for something, and I see this so often, right? I see people settling for what is less than what they're capable for. And in a lot of cases, I see people even going as far as celebrating that, and I wanted to talk about that this morning. So I want to talk about what happens when we settle for something and how that really does set us back in our lives. It sets us back, mentally. It sets us back in our momentum. It sets us back in our progress, all those different things. And I think that we do it, subconsciously because, life is happening, right? And we just end up, trying to be satisfied with whatever we get, maybe trying to keep a positive attitude. But the title of the show is Settling is the Same as a Setback. And it really is. And I want you guys to digest that this morning. And I want to unpack that and kind of break it up and talk about how you can attack that, how you can be aware of maybe your tendency to do that in your own life. And then how, if you stop settling, you can make just a massive amount of progress. But first, as always, I want to say good morning to some folks. What's happening? Ed, Daniel, good morning to you. Ryan, Austin, Tammy, Clark, my girl, good morning to you. Keith Calloway Jr., my brother. We got something special coming up with Keith Calloway Jr., hopefully this week. So stay tuned for that. Scott Rhodes, what's happening? Mark Farrelly, my brother, good morning to you. Joe James, what's happening, man? Watching over on YouTube. Jared Bird and Bob and Cynthia, good morning to you guys, and happy Monday to you as well. So, settling. What does it mean when we settle for something? I think that many times, in our lives, as we're pushing for something, whether it's, in business, or we're trying to fix something in our personal lives, we're trying to, make progress in a certain area of our lives, we start to feel that resistance, right? We start to feel that pushback that comes along with trying to do anything great, trying to do anything that's special, trying to do anything that is significant in our lives. We start to feel that resistance that comes along with it. And at some point, we get so much progress that it feels unusual to us. It feels out of our comfort zones. Anybody relate to that one? You start to feel like you're making so much progress that you get to what we'll refer to as uncharted territory. And that uncharted territory makes us uncomfortable. It makes us think like, man, maybe I am out over my skis here. And so what happens is that we start to turn the temperature of our lives down, right? Or we might have a massive amount of momentum building. We either go too fast or and make some mistakes, and that makes us nervous, or we just slow down because where we're at, man, it's uncomfortable. It's uncharted territory. And so we start to cool it down because we're nervous. We're in uncharted territory. And that is, guys, the definition of settling. It is the definition of settling. And how you avoid settling, at least for me in my life, is, surrounding yourself with the right people. You can keep a lot more consistency in your life. You can continue to push. You can have people that continue to remind you the importance of pushing by being surrounded by people who are used to pushing and who are used to reminding others what they should be doing, especially people that have a lot of potential. And, for me, settling became a part of life for me for a long time, right? It was like, this is enough. I'm doing better than most. I have a great job that pays me well. And so, I should be happy. At least that's what the world tells us. I should be satisfied. And in all reality, guys, I think that we all need to think about the fact that that's just not true. What you want in your life, what you desire to have in your life, what goals you have that other people might not understand has nothing to do with other people understanding them. It has everything to do with you understanding them, with you being committed to them, with you staying committed to what it is that you figure out yourself that you want in your life. And so when you think about the periods of time when you've had setbacks in your life, I want you to compare that to what happens when you settle for something that is less than what you originally set out to do. This is a great time of year to be talking about this because, it's the fourth quarter. And many of us set goals at the beginning of the year that may not happen, right? We're staring down the barrel of falling short of those goals. Now, the difference between those people who win big in life and those people who end up with an average existence, average results, is how hard they push when the goal might seem out of reach. Do they continue pushing? Do they keep the pressure on? Do they keep trying to achieve what it is that they set out to achieve, even if it's even if it seems unattainable? That's the difference. Or do they settle for the fact that they will fall short, and they will guarantee the fact that they will experience a setback in their life as a result of the fact that they decided to settle for something less than what they were capable of doing? Let me explain that a little bit more in detail. If you set a goal to achieve X in revenue, in sales in your company, and you're going to fall short of that, if you don't continue pushing as hard as you can, imagine the momentum, imagine the progress that you are not going to make that will create the measuring stick to compare next year to. Imagine what you will fall short of if you settle for whatever it is that happens for the rest of this year. That, friends, is what I call a setback. Because next year, as you start next year, as you finish this year and go into next year, you will have no momentum. You will have no energy in your company, and you will be starting next year completely flat-footed, trying to climb this mountain again, as opposed to continuing to stay focused, continuing to push through, continuing to not settle, but continuing to try to work the process and achieve the very best that you and your team can achieve. And so if you don't settle, what you create in your life is momentum. What you create in your company is energy. And that energy, that momentum, object in motion will stay in motion. Will take you right through to the beginning of next year, and you will continue to multiply on those results. I can think back in my own career to years where we coasted to the finish. The organizations I was part of, they were more focused on, just kind of coasting to the finish, keeping everybody comfortable, all that kind of stuff. And they never did anything great. Those companies, those people, they never did anything great. They never accomplished things that wowed people. They never did things that seemed unachievable because they were always settling for what was easy. And as you look at yourself, as you look at what you've got in front of you for the next 3 months here, it's almost the fourth quarter. We're a few days away. We got a few days to finish quarter 3. And as we head into quarter 4, ask yourself that question. Where are you right now? Where are you mentally right at this moment? Are you tired? Are you looking to take your foot off the gas? Or are you going to finish with momentum and energy and encourage other people to do the same? Because let me tell you something. Those people that you're surrounded by, if they're not pushing you, if they're not continuing to point out the things that need to be done in order to achieve greatness, you better get away from them. Or you better coach them and tell them what's going on, what they're doing, how they're behaving. Because eventually those people will impact you. Those people that are around you determine your destiny. And so who you want around you are those people who are encouraging you, who are telling you you can do more, who never allow you to settle. At least that's who I want around me. Those people who stay focused to the finish. My business partner, Ed, reminded me of something I always say on Fridays, play to the whistle, right? And he said when he coached football, he used to tell the team to play to the echo of the whistle. What a great analogy. Play right through it. And settling, guys, is the same as a setback. Think about that. Let that process in your mind today. If you settle for whatever results you have right now, they could be great, by the way. You could be knocking the cover off the ball this year. If you settle for what you've already done, you are causing yourself to have a massive setback in your life that you are unaware that you are even doing. So don't settle. Play to the echo of the whistle. And make the fourth quarter of 2021 a great one. Make it one to remember. But the first thing you have to do is finish quarter 3. You got this week to sprint to the finish of the third quarter. You got a couple days. What kind of activity, what kind of results, what kind of momentum can you build in the next few days that will take you into quarter 4 on fire? You ever notice how when you're on fire, right, you got all the energy, how it's so easy to just get up and keep doing it over and over and over again? But when you take your foot off the gas, man, you come to work and you got to just kind of muscle your way through it to get things moving. That's what you do to yourself when you settle. You cause and create your own setbacks. So don't do that. Play to the echo of the whistle. Do everything in your power to create momentum and keep it in your business, in your life, in your marriage, with your kids, everything. Because when you have great things going on in your life, great things multiply. When you have tough things going on in your life, those tough things seem to multiply. But when you don't settle, when you don't take your foot off the gas, you will create and keep momentum. That's my advice to you guys as you finish off quarter 3 here this week and enter quarter 4. Don't settle. Don't cause yourself to look back next year and say, I could have done more. I could have left more on the field. Leave it all out there, guys. Do everything you can. Get refocused. It's Monday. Get refocused. Make it a great week. I will see you guys again tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys. Thanks for being here.